Welcome to Come Get Woo Woo. We're your hosts, Becky and Ro, here to hold space for the unseen, the unspoken, and the deeply felt. This is a place for seekers, for those who sense that there's more, for those who hear between the words, feel beyond the room, and know without knowing why.
Together, we'll explore the language of spirit, the clarity of your clairs, and the signs that rise up when you're ready to notice. You're not imagining it. You're remembering it. This is Come Get Woo Woo.
Hey, Woo Woo Seekers! Welcome to another episode of Come Get Woo Woo with Becky and Ro. I'm Becky.
And I'm Ro. And before we dive into today's episodes of Messages in Motion, what Spirit revealed this month, Becky, let's do a quick check-in. What's new?
As we talked about last month, we've been busy little bees, and today we're ready to share our exciting new project. On our website, you can find our fun and interactive game, the Seekers Intuitive Gym. All you have to do is go to our website, comegetwoowoo.com. I'll go over the first part, which is the Intuition Gym. And Ro, will you tell our listeners about the other one?
Oh, of course.
All right. The first part is the Intuition Gym. This one is all about mastering the fundamentals of clear psychic perception. It strips away all the noise, the faces, and the complicated background stories so you can test your raw and immediate accuracy. Here you are stepping up to the target floor to play 4 core focus games. Testing colors. You tap into your immediate visual impression to try and sense the dominant color of the hidden target before you hit reveal. Then you're going to be sensing numbers. This is about moving past the logical guessing and practicing how to translate the vibration, scale, and energetic weight of specific numbers. Then your next section is going to be knowing shapes. This functions almost like a mini remote viewing workout. You're trying to capture basic geometry, structures, and lines. Then it gets a little bit more difficult, and recognizing cards. This is an ultimate multi-layered challenge. It uses a classic deck of playing cards to bring all the other games together. To get a bullseye, your intuition has to layer the color, the number, and the shape, or the suit, all at one time. It's a much harder and advanced workout for when you really want to stretch yourself. These games all have different skill levels. It's a great way to start understanding and listening to your intuition.
I wanted to share a quick story about how these gyms actually came to be, because it didn't start as a business idea. It came out of a completely selfish frustration. We used to send pictures for the group just to see what we can get. And the most annoying thing was finding a picture that didn't have any details that you saw. And sometimes it's so hard to play along when you've already seen these details. And there are times it's hard to put yourself out there because you don't want to be wrong. So we wanted to build a safe, totally distraction-free practice floor where the software does the heavy lifting, a place where me or anyone else could go directly to the website and just play. This gym is called the Mediumship Gym. This is where you practice what we call the bridge, tuning into a photo to capture personality traits, memories, and specific evidence of a soul. So the flow is built around connections. You can choose a special category you want to work with. We have general humans, individuals under 25, the animal kingdom, where you connect with animals and pick up their unique personalities and their handlers. Then we have true crime, which is the heavier detective side where the gym prompts you for details on motives. So what happens is a photo pops up with a name. You look at it and ask yourself very grounded questions. Do I actually feel a connection with this soul right now? And if you don't feel a vibe with the energy, or if you happen to already know who they are, you just hit next energy to skip it. No penalties. If you do feel it, you write down your initial impressions, and the system pops up with a few random soul prompts to help you dig past your first impressions to touch on the deeper details. When you hit reveal, the full background facts and validation evidence appear right next to a smaller version of the photo, so you can look at them side by side. At the end of the workout, there's just simple validation checklists where you could check off what matched. Maybe you felt the personality perfectly, but missed the career detail in the mediumship. You can then save your work. And over time, it builds a private diary of your practice. It completely takes away the performance anxiety of a group and lets you figure out your own unique mediumship shorthand. So it's just a quiet, down-to-earth space to practice whenever you have 5 minutes to spare. So if you've been wanting to test your skills without the noise or the pressure, go check them out and let me know which gym you like best.
I love this. I just, it's so much fun. I've played on it, and there are many times that I'm like, no, it can't be another red or something like that. And sure enough, there's another red. I'm like, so again, it was my intuition was telling me it was red, but I was like, so my brain got in the way, and logic told me like, no, there can't be. So it's been very interesting. I'm not going to lie. The first time I did it, I did not do well because my brain got in the way.
That's the hardest, to get that brain out of the way. I've been playing with the mediumship one.
And I've not done a lot of that. So tell me about it a little bit more.
Yeah. So in the mediumship one, when you like, I think I had a detail, and it wasn't in the background of what was on the screen. There is a button that allows you to go research called Research for More. Once you hit that, it pulls up the AI overview of it. And then, whatever else pulls up, Wikipedia and in your Google search. You don't have to go look and put in a name. It'll already be there, and it'll pull up all the information. So that's been helpful.
That's really cool.
It was really fun to put everything together.
It was a lot of work.
It was a
lot of work.
I had fun doing it too.
Just so everybody knows, this was Rose baby. She's brilliant on doing stuff like this. So I bow to her. She is absolutely amazing with this stuff.
And it was kind of selfish too, because I really wanted to do the mediumship piece and try to practice that way, because I don't always have a partner to practice with, and we all know each other's loved ones.
Well, okay, so one of the reasons I love this so much is because of scrolling through TikTok, and a lot of times you have those intuition tests, and I love those, except for they never give you the damn answer. So I love that you can get an instant gratification, so I know exactly how well I did or didn't do, and it's a unique game. I've never seen one like it. So you did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to, for the intuition one, I wanted to build upon it. So when you get to the cards, it becomes a little easier.
Yeah. I haven't played with the cards yet. I'm still on colors because I do know that it does keep track, and it kind of, obviously you can go to certain levels, but if you want to do it progressively, you can actually, it'll keep track. And once you get to a certain percentage, it'll actually prompt you to move to the next level. Not that you have to do it, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And, we're looking at adding different things. So it'll be interesting to see what else we can find. We've got lots of irons in the fire.
We do.
We really do. All right, so let's start our messages into motion. Today, we're taking individual words from the Woo Woo Seeker's Journal, and we'll share what came through for us across the clairs. Now, remember, all of our words have meditations that accompany them, and they're on the Woo Woo Seeker's YouTube channel. So let me be clear. Not every word activates every single clair, and it's completely normal. Sometimes a message comes through vividly, sometimes through feeling, and sometimes just a sudden knowing. As your clairs strengthen, your senses may start appearing, and revisiting the same word can reveal deeper layers of guidance. In our journals, we've included bonus prompts for each of these words, which we encourage you to explore on your own. Those won't be part of this podcast today. One of the most interesting parts of this process is noticing how differently Spirit communicates with each and every one of us. Sometimes I receive something strongly through sensation, while Ro receives it as imagery or insight. Spirit adapts its language so you can each understand the guidance in the way that works best for you. Last month, for happiness, both of us received flashes instead of defining moments. Ro felt happiness in small everyday moments, things finally working out, laughing with loved ones, celebrating others, and reconnecting. Now, myself, I experienced something similar through hugs and family gatherings and memories and quiet moments on the lake, and even a soft serve ice cream shared together. Even though the images were different, the message was the same. Happiness isn't one big event. It's built from many meaningful moments. But on the other hand, for harmony, I experienced a symbolic path where staying aligned created ease and stepping away from creative resistance. My message focused on personal direction and staying true to myself. Ro experienced harmony through musical notes, memories of watching Anastasia perform, and sensory details like moments and the smell of coffee. Her message was focused on collective connection and how harmony happens when people work together.
Each week, we gave you words from the Woo Woo Seeker's Journal series. And today, Becky and I will share what came through for us as we worked with them. Together, we're building a spiritual dictionary of signs and symbols. Sometimes our experiences align, and sometimes they don't. Both are valid. One word can open completely different doors depending on what someone needs to receive. For this series, we're using the Woo Woo Seeker's Journal, A Journey for Your Signs and Symbols, Book 1. And this month, we're exploring 6 words across these categories. So for emotions and state, we have hope and insecurity, people and places, we have island and leader, and everyday objects, we have lantern and lock. If you don't have the journal, just grab a notebook and follow along. If you like a copy, visit comegetwoowoo.com and click on the Woo Woo Seeker's Journals, or search the Woo Woo Seeker's Journal on Amazon. We didn't talk about our experience ahead of time. So just like you, we're hearing everything fresh in the moment. So let's dive in. We have hope that we're starting with. Becky, did you want to start with hope?
Sure, I can do that. Okay, so for hope, I might get emotional. Okay. So the first thing I initially felt, it was a tugging sensation in my heart, kind of that heart chakra. And then I was thrown back to images of years of dealing with somebody that had an addiction. And anybody that has had this experience, they know what I'm talking about, where there's so much hope in every single day, you hope. And I kept hearing, hope is not lost, just set aside. And then I realized that it never leaves you. It just changes directions. And now you know my story, and I won't go into detail, but I had a lot of hope for a lot of years. And I still have that hope, but now that hope, it's more for me. And it all circled back. And I have to refer to my notes because I think I blocked it out a little bit. And it wasn't that it ever died. It was that it switched directions and it went inward as opposed to that hope going outward. It was the hope for my future and not theirs. So it's kind of a bit sad because you do. Anybody that's had to deal, and it still hurts. It wasn't something I wanted to let go, but I had to. But because of that letting go, I was able to have hope for myself. So it was a very emotional one. I kind of, like I said, I think I blocked it out a little bit because I wrote all of it down and now it's coming back up. So yeah.
Sending hugs your way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Definitely. So let's go happy. Do you have a happy? Oh, why is it that? Oh no. Okay, let's hear you.
Happy, but it's short. So for hope, I saw a huge red heart, and around it were like little scenes. And one scene I could see clearly, and it looked like a hospital scene. So people were around this individual praying, and my heart felt extremely heavy, like the weight of the world was upon it, and the knowing was sometimes hope comes as, I hope all is well, but hope is much deeper. The hope of a job, or hope the test results come back good, or the hope that someone survives. So that was my hope.
I'm sending you hugs. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So.
Well, can we?
Hope is heavy. Oh, and then we got insecurity right after.
I know. That. Hope's really heavy. I'm going to let you go first because I got a lot for insecurity.
Okay.
Like a lot.
So for insecurity, you know how they say when you're on stage doing a speech, imagine everyone in their underwear?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a person on stage and everyone in the audience was in their underwear, but the speaker was naked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Not usually the way you see it, but all right.
Yeah. And they knew they were naked, but they stood tall. They were walking around giving their speech, and the room was silent, and no one cared that they were naked. They were listening intently. And the knowing is lots of times we hide our insecurities, and there are sometimes we just can't hide and we show up naked. But it's what we do when we show up naked that matters.
I totally understand that because it really is. Mine's so different. Okay. So different. So little background because I need a story, and of course I've got a story. One of my fears. I don't have a fear of heights. What I have is a fear of insecurity. And I know this, and I have the same sensation if I was in a canoe as I was on a ladder, and I'll tell you little stories. So that's just my little lead in, if you will. So the first thing I felt was the tightness of my lower stomach. kind of that root area, just kind of like you need to ground yourself. Then all of a sudden, because you talk about a wave goes over you, and I feel everything just kind of relax. It's like a wave going over your cheeks and then your shoulders and go on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about inside the meditation.
Yeah, inside the meditation. Yep. And you talk about a wave, like it's a wave coming over you. And so that's exactly what happened. Then as I move through the meditation, I see myself in this canoe. And this is a story I have to tell because I have to. It's funny. Have you ever been in a canoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my ex, he had this canoe since he was 15. We decided to go down a river that's by our house, and we go fishing and canoeing, and, you know, it's yada, yada, yada. Okay. So first part of the trip, everything's great. Everything's fine because I could actually put my feet in the water, you know, before he got in. But then we stopped, we had lunch, and we're fishing because it was a little deeper part of the river, and we're fishing. And because he kept on telling me this, his words exactly, he said, "This is an untippable canoe." I said, okay. So we're in this deeper part. So I've got to get in the canoe, and then he's got to get in also. So you have to shift your weight to counterbalance, right? Except for I freak and I bail. So what happens? It tips. We get everything. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. We get everything back in. We this. Now you have to remember this is long ago. I think Jenna was even a baby. And so we had the old Nokia phones, you know, the brick. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're in plastic baggies. And so then we tried again. I am not kidding you. Within 5 minutes, same thing. And I bailed. I freaked and I bailed again. This time, everything fell out of because he caught it the first time. And everything falls out of the canoe. His phone is gone. The cooler is everywhere. Worms. It was just bad. It was so bad. So in a matter of 20 minutes, I tipped an untippable canoe twice. I realized right then and there, for me, my insecurity, and this is what I got in my meditation, is insecurity is built out of fear. And for me, the fear of not having control, that was my fear. So I didn't have control because I'm sitting in front. I can't see anything behind me. I was in the front, he was in the back. And so because of the amount of fear that I had at that specific moment, I remember every single detail. And I think that happens. You either remember every detail when you're in that block of fear, or you don't have any. And I can tell you, we saw 2 eagles while I'm in the meditation. I can actually hear his voice and him telling me, it's fine. It's fine. It wasn't fine, by the way. But I could hear the water lapping the canoe. I even tasted the river because I went under. Yeah. So my insecurity, the biggest thing I took from it is that it's built out of fear. Insecurity is built out of fear. So yeah.
That's so true though, too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Wow.
So it was a pretty detailed one, but it brought, I'm not going to lie, I laughed because it is
Were you
He
laughing in the moment? Or
Oh
is
my
like,
gosh. Was I laughing in the moment? No. I was getting yelled at is what I was getting. I was getting yelled at. And in fact, if you asked him about it, and he'll be probably the first, yeah, I thought it was an untippable canoe. She proved me wrong twice. Twice in 20 minutes. He had that canoe since he was 15 years old, and
wow.
he had never tipped it in all of his life. That was our first and only canoe trip on that river. So, yeah. So that's what I have for insecurity.
It's pretty cool.
So now we have island.
Yes.
I don't have much for island. What do you have?
For all of these, I don't have a whole lot, but I could do island if you want.
Yep. Let's hear what you got, Ro.
Okay. So I did this meditation 3 times. I fell asleep on it twice. And I kept going, oh, what is that doing in there? Oh, that shouldn't be in there.
It could be because you've got a lot on your plate. That's what it could be. You've been doing a lot of late nights trying to get that gym together.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was kind of kicking myself on that. I was like, oh. But anyway, so
yes. Okay.
I pictured myself. I was on a beautiful island. The water was so clear you could see your feet in it. The sand was so soft under my feet. And there were huts around. So there were other people on this island, but I was alone in this space. I felt peaceful, grounded. It was like a healing space, you know? And then a pelican showed up, and a toucan, and swans were swimming in the water. And the toucan and the pelican were noisy. I really didn't feel alone with them all there present. For me, the swans reminded me of beauty. The toucan, communication and speaking the truth. And the pelican, I don't know, I always feel like they're like the nourishing kind. How about you? How was your island?
Ooh, well, my island didn't produce a whole lot of anything except for images, which is funny because my images, my clairvoyance isn't as strong as the rest. The first image that I got was like me presenting myself with something, but I was the first in the group, and then everybody was back behind me. So it was almost like I was separated, like like that separation.
Mm.
Then the next one, this one it was weird, and I haven't dissected a whole lot because it was like someone alone by a barn, but they were kind of looking around the corner of the barn, and that's what I could see. It was almost like they were laying down, looking around the corner, and it was really weird. I like I said, I haven't unpacked that one fully. And then the next one, my hand came up a pile of sand, and you bring it up, and eventually the sand filters out of your fingers, and you're left with just a little bit of sand, except for I was left with a grain of sand.
Oh.
That's all it was. This is the knowing that I got, is sometimes we are an island of our own making, even if we don't know it. And like I said, I have to go back and do it again because I felt like there was still more to it. But I think we talked about it, that I was doing some of it in the morning and my alarm went off. So yeah, I had to go. I had to go. So yeah, that is what I got.
Oh, I love it.
So what did you get for leader?
For leader, I saw pictures of bosses and mentors. And then I saw spiritual leaders like Jesus, Buddha, and Gandhi. Like, oh, okay. And I kept hearing strength. Mm-hmm. And then I get leaders aren't there to tear people down. They work with your strengths. They honor you as a person, and they help you with your weaknesses. A leader doesn't condemn people. They rise with them.
Oh, that's beautiful and so true. It
Yeah.
really is. And not far off from what I got.
Oh, what'd you get?
Yeah. So it started off, it was almost like a flip book. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say flip book?
Mm-hmm.
Except for it was all these different spiritual leaders and stuff like that. Except for it only paused. I couldn't see all of them. It paused just enough on Martin Luther King Jr. And I heard his speech. I knew it was him. It's the iconic picture of him standing at the podium. But I could hear the speech. It was almost like I was there. So maybe in another life I was. I don't know. It was just a solidary. It was strong. And as he was talking, I could see it. My posture changed. Like my shoulders came back. I stood up a little bit taller. And I felt that way long after the meditation was over.
Oh.
It was really cool. And this is the amazing insight that they gave me. It was the best leaders starts with a dream, and their authenticity and integrity is what makes them legendary leaders.
So true.
Yes. It's pretty amazing though, but not far off from yours.
It's pretty cool.
So our next one's lantern.
Yes. For lantern, I was in the middle of a lake on a rowboat at night. And on the rowboat, and attached to a long pole, there was a lantern. And I could feel the oars in my hand, and I could hear as they splashed into the water. But I wasn't in pure darkness. The light of the moon was, going across the water. And I didn't need the lantern. The knowing I got was sometimes we rely on things like the lantern to see, but it isn't always necessary. And we need to trust what's around us. Interesting,
Very cool.
How about you?
Mine is interesting also. I received a lantern from Echo, and it's white, and in her little note, it let intuition guide you. If I remember right, it was what the note said. I keep it. It's behind me. It's right behind me. It's right in my window still, and it's something that I actually try to do more and more of, especially lately, just letting my intuition guide me. So that was the symbol that I seen. And so then it was weird because I'm walking in the dark and the lantern is guiding me, right? And then I start seeing like people, places coming into view. And what I heard was, let the lantern or intuition guide you to be the most authentic you. Like I said, it was really interesting because as I walked, it illuminated people that are in my life and places that I have been that had a lot of impact on me. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
I could actually picture it.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Now we have lock.
Yes.
I don't have much. Do you want me to go first?
It's up to you.
You know the lock that is part of the meditation with the heart and stuff? That's the lock I saw. And except for I saw it unlocking. It was, I kept feeling a strong feeling that locks have two sides of them. You have the unlocked and you have the locked. And when I unlocked, I saw two young girls playing dress up. And I could visually see one of them was like with her head tilted back, and she is literally giggling and talking. And it was almost like she was plain dress up, and she had these gloves on, and the other girl is doing the same thing, except for she's sitting down. And it was like two that they were like trying to be socialites. I think it's the best way to say it, like, I don't know. So that's what I saw. So when you unlocked, that was what it was. And then when it was locked, I actually looked through the hole, and all you saw was darkness, but you could tell things were moving behind the scenes. Like you see movement without seeing movement. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Okay. So this is the insight that I got, is sometimes you have to unlock in order to see the fuller, clearer picture.
Very cool.
How about you? What did you get for a lock?
So for lock, I saw so many different images. First, I saw a heart, and on the heart was a lock. And this heart had like many hurts. And it's going to take a lot to unlock that lock. And then there's a place in Paris that has a bridge, and attached to the fences are all of these locks. So representing couples locking in their love. And then a lock to my front door, like I saw my door and me locking it. And then a lock to a jail cell. And then a box with a lock that, to keep things safe. And then I felt a box around me. So I was like inside this box, and it was clear, but there was like no room in the box. And, I wasn't sitting, I was standing. So it's like standing in this box-like structure, which was clear. And there was like really no room. So like my shoulders touched each side of it. And I felt closed in, kind of like trapped into the box. So the knowing was, we spend so much time locking away things, whether it be mentally, emotionally, or physically, for all protection. And while it's important to keep yourself safe, it's also important to know when to trust to give the key.
Oh, that hits hard.
It's very interesting, all these images popping up.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well, especially the one that stands out to me the most is the heart lock that has multiple locks on top of it.
Yes.
Because I think that happens a lot, is we don't share. I know I don't. I mean, I share it with you guys, obviously. But like,
I'm the not sharer.
Yes, you are. But there's certain situations that I've found myself in that I pull back where maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first saw that heart with the lock on, I'm like, oh boy.
If you've been following along, we've been exploring 2 animal energies each month also, from our Woo Woo Seekers journal, The Guide to Getting Clarity with Your Clairs. They aren't tied to any meditations. Instead, they are an invitation to notice how these animals appear symbolically, energetically, and even physically in your world. This month's animals were cobra and deer. So, Ro, what does cobra and deer mean to you?
So, cobra, since it's a snake, the first thing you think of is shedding of the skin. But also cobra has this protection about it. And deer, I have so many deer around here. I mean, I love when they come. I see them daily, and it's summertime, so I might catch one or two in my backyard, and I always talk to them, but I don't really have a meaning. It's just that they're very peaceful. What about you?
I'll start with cobra. For me, cobras very much of, the first thought I had too was it's a snake. It has layers. It sheds its skin. But also on that aspect, it never attacks unless it's being attacked.
Mm.
If you leave it alone, it won't bug you. Then I get the image of, those snake charmers and, how they can literally, tap it on the head. It can do a bunch of things. And I just know that will never be me.
No, me neither. Oh, is that where they have? Oh, yes, where they have it in the basket.
Yes.
I mean, you've seen all the movies on them, the basket, and they're blowing a flute of some sort.
So then you have a deer. So now, obviously, I live in the country. I see deer in fact, I almost hit one the other day. I'm still mesmerized by them because there is still that sense of innocence. And I am lucky enough that I get to see fawns too. And I love them. But at the same time, sometimes they're a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah. And you don't have to live in the country to see deer or fawn.
No, you do not live in the country and you see deer. They're just everywhere, which is a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, but always in a group.
Yeah. We have a rule here is if one crosses, stop, because there's going to be at least two more.
Right. That get spooked and
yep. Yep. So I know that we've compiled a few facts, fun facts, and interesting items.
I'll start you off with the facts and end in fun facts later on.
Wonderful. Let's do that.
Okay. We have the contrast of how they live their lives. Like a cobra doesn't spend its life puffed up and striking. It spends most of its time low to the earth, moving quietly through the shadows. The famous hood only expands when it feels threatened or needs to command space. It rises up and becomes larger than life only when absolutely necessary. So the question you can ask yourself, if a cobra is appearing for you right now, are you staying low and hiding your power? Or have you been walking around with your hood fully extended, burning up your energy by staying in a constant state of defense?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And then for deer, a deer is a creature of absolute presence because they are prey animals. Their entire nervous system is finely tuned into the slightest rustle in the leaves. Yet, they don't live in permanent panic. They graze peacefully, returning to the state of calm the moment the threat passes. They are masters of resetting their own peace. So the question you can ask yourself is, your nervous system stuck in a loop of scanning for danger? Are you treating every daily stressor like a predator in the bushes? Or can you find a way to acknowledge the alert and then immediately return grazing in your own peace? When we see a cobra raising its head on a screen or a deer stepping out in the morning mist, we usually say, oh, that's a sign. But if we want to go deeper, if we want to understand what our own subconscious is trying to tell us, we have to look closer.
And we can do that by looking at the actual biological traits of these creatures to find the answers that we're looking for. So take movement. Cobras are going to be grounded, undulating, raising vertically from a solid base, striking forward with singular precision. Deers are agile, leaping, capable of sudden changes in direction, stepping lightly to leave almost no footprint. So the inquiry might be, does the way this animal is moving mirror my current path? Do I need to anchor myself to the earth and rise up with absolute singular focus? Or do I need to tread lightly and be ready to gracefully leap in a completely different direction? So then we'll go with consumption. Cobras have a slow metabolism. It swallows its meals whole and can go weeks, even months, digesting that single choice. Now, deer, constant browsers, moving from plant to plant, sampling a little bit of everything to keep its energy sustained. So you might ask yourself, how are you taking in nourishment right now? Do you need to digest one big project or experience completely before moving on? Or do you need to wander through your options, gathering small bits of inspiration from many different places? So the next is going to be your social connection. So cobras, deeply solitary, interacting with others only during specific seasons before returning to their own territory. Now, deer, on the other hand, they're very social, moving in herds or family groups, relying on collective eyes and ears of the community for safety. So you might ask yourself, where is your heart sitting today when it comes to connection? If your soul's calling for total solitude to process your own world, or do you need comfort and shared vigilance of your trusted circle? So now we're back to those fun facts. Ro, do you want to continue?
Absolutely. So cobras, they're highly intelligent hunters. The king cobra is the only snake in the world that builds a dedicated nest for its eggs and fiercely protects them. A cobra's hiss isn't just a whistle through its teeth. They have a specialized trachea that lowers the sound, making it rumble like a low growling dog. And they don't just see with the eyes, they use their tongues to taste the air, pulling in scent molecules directly into a special organ in the roof of their mouth to map their surroundings. Ooh. And deer, their eyes are positioned on the sides of their heads, giving them a 310-degree view of the world, so they can see beyond themselves without turning around. They have an extraordinary sense of hearing, with muscles that allow them to turn their ears in completely different directions independently to pinpoint a sound. Deer are incredibly strong swimmers, possessing a dense coat of hollow hairs that actually help them float across deep and rushing waters. A lot of that I didn't know, so that's pretty cool.
I mean, like, I've seen deer and I've seen their ears perk and go different directions, but I never knew that they did it to that extent. And I knew, like, caribou are excellent swimmers. Because I saw it on, like, the Discovery Channel or something like that. But I had no idea that deer were. So that's very interesting.
It is. Yes, I agree. And I didn't know about the cobra either. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Exactly. Like them having a low growl. I
Yes.
had no idea. I had no idea.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over the web or what others say what these animals spiritually mean?
Oh, what they mean spiritually? Absolutely. So the cobra is deeply linked to the concept of internal fire and kundalini energy, representing the power that sleeps at the base of existence until it's ready to rise. A vision of the soul, because they shed their skin whole, they are timeless symbols of death and rebirth. Seeing a cobra is an invitation to leave the old version of yourself completely behind on the forest floor without looking back. The opening of the cobra's hood is the ultimate boundary line. It is a spiritual reminder to check your energetic space. Are you letting people walk all over you? Or is it time to show your full size and say, no further? Now, I will go over what Cobra means in my Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck by Kim Kranz. And it says, the Cobra card represents the teacher or spiritual guardian. The Cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever loving. Found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher, and it manifests externally in special guides. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then now the deer is the gentle guardian. If the Cobra was the power, the deer is the grace. The deer is a reminder of pure intuition. Seeing one is a message from spirit to trust the subtle vibes, the quiet shifts in the wind, and the whispers of your own body before the logical mind takes over. With their gentle eyes and deep connection to the quiet parts of nature, deer are tied intimately to the heart chakra, the space of unconditional love, vulnerability, and gentleness. Seeing a deer might be the nudge to soften your step. Deer create beautiful winding trails through the deepest part of the woods where others fear to go. In many traditions, seeing a deer means you are being guided safely through the unknown, shadowy transition of your life. And deer is also in my Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck by Kim Kranz. And it says the deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of new life draws near, or when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. When these animals cross your path, don't always reach for the book to see what a website thinks. Look at how they are existing in that very moment. Are they resting? Are they waiting? Are they sprinting? Their how is the whisper. And what is it saying to you? So the next time one of these animals appears in your life, just pause. Notice for a moment the feeding, the social energy, the color, the pattern, the song. Let yourself reflect and explore. There's no right answer. Your own observation is the guide. I just love that.
Yes, me too. As we wrap up today's episode of Messages in Motion, we invite you to sit with what resonated most for you, the subtle nudges, the insights, the feelings that may still be unfolding. These messages don't end when the episode does. They continue moving through your life, shaping how you listen, respond, and align with what's next. And remember, each word we went through today has a companion meditation that goes along with it over on our YouTube channel at Woo Woo Seekers. So if you didn't get a clear sense through one of the clairs, or if you want to explore a word more deeply, you can always revisit it in the meditation. These journeys are a beautiful way to reconnect, practice dialing into your class, and notice how spirit might whisper a completely different message to you each time you listen. We also would love to hear about the personal revelations and hits you received during our time together. So please drop us a line and share your experience at woowooseekers@gmail.com. This week, let's try a completely different kind of challenge. Instead of waiting for an animal to cross your path in the physical world, the invitation is to actively call upon their energy in your mind's eye when you hit a roadblock. When you find yourself stuck in a heavy emotion, a difficult decision, or a moment of exhaustion, close your eyes and bring the essence of an animal into your awareness. Don't look for a dictionary definition. Look for a shift in your own internal state. Take some time to practice with this inner visualization. So if you're feeling scattered, imagine breathing in a steady, laser-focused presence of a predator locked in its goal, or a deep, unshakable stillness of a creature rooted to the earth. Feel that specific frequency settle into your bones. If your heart is racing with anxiety, visualize a gentle creature grazing peacefully in a quiet meadow, completely resetting its nervous system after a scare. Let your breath slow down to match its rhythm. And if you're feeling stuck, seeing a situation from only one painful angle, imagine adopting the panoramic 360-degree vision of a creature that can look past and the future simultaneously. How does the problem look when you expand your view? And lastly, if you feel exposed or thin-skinned, imagine calling forward a protective barrier, the rising hood of a cobra or the shifting patterns of a chameleon, to command your space and honor your true boundaries. The medicine of these creatures isn't just something we observe from a distance. It is a living vocabulary that we can activate within ourselves when we need to change our motion. I just love doing this episode. Before we close, what are we doing next week, Becky?
Well, our listeners, get ready because we are officially opening a brand new multi-part series called The Human Bridge. This entire series is all about how we stand between worlds, anchoring higher frequencies while staying deeply rooted in the physical skin. We're kicking things off with an incredibly deep dive into the void and the abyss. Now, when we talk about the void and the abyss, we aren't talking about dark, scary, empty space. We're talking about this sacred pause, the cosmic womb of absolute nothingness, where old forms completely dissolve to make room for raw, unmanifested potential. It's that profound threshold where you are no longer who you used to be, but you haven't yet become who you're going to be. We're going to explain exactly how to navigate this space, how to sit in the stillness, and how to trust the dark without losing your center. Next month's animal focus is dolphin and dragon. From the Woo Woo Seekers Journal, a guide to getting clarity with your clairs. Our newsletter drops on June 1st, delivering a complete schedule of episodes for the month. You'll get access to all the guided meditations to our new words of the month, a peek at the month's astrology happenings with simple tips to navigate energy inside of astrology aspects. And don't forget our monthly tarot tidbits. So don't miss out on our monthly dose of spiritual tools. Head on over to comegetwoowoo.com and click on newsletter and subscribe today. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for getting woo-woo with us today. If something sparked a memory, a message, or just made you smile, share it with a fellow seeker, because the journey is always better when you can grow together. Be sure to find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Woo Woo Seekers, so you can like, follow, and subscribe.
You can also follow us by visiting our website, comegetwoowoo.com. We are so much more than just another podcast. We're building a community of seekers just like us. We love hearing from you. If you've got signs, symbols, or stories that you want to share, email us at woowooseekers@gmail.com. Or any questions about today's episode, you can email us at comegetwoowoo@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and as always, come get woo-woo with us.